Are you ready to join us for one of the most satisfying moments in our journey across Alaska? If you are wondering where in Alaska you will find a jaw-dropping display of autumn colors, well, now we can tell you. We are on our way to a uniquely Alaskan resource, one of many off-grid cabins tucked into the wild where anyone can go to escape from it all. As it often is in life, getting there is half the adventure. Join us as we finally find the colors of autumn spread like fire across some of Alaska's most stunning terrain. Learn with us as we discover why we find the colors here, and why is there such a marked difference between the two sides of the Kenai Peninsula. Then finally settle in with us, experiencing a little taste of a simple, quiet existence in an off-grid cabin in the Alaskan wilderness. Our journey begins here on the mountainous side of the Kenai Peninsula. Our destination is a small off-grid cabin here, right where the land makes a dramatic shift from mountains to lowlands. Why the change? We will find out, but first, let's get there. If we haven't met yet, hi, we're Cora and Jose, two artists traveling Alaska to Argentina, and this is our Bobby Bus, the six-wheeled tiny home, recording studio, and art space that is making it all happen. It is a beautiful day to cruise the Seward Highway. We are coming to what locals call the Y, where the Seward Highway meets the Sterling Highway, the only other major highway on the Kenai Peninsula. The Y happens right at Turn Lake, and here is where it starts happening.
My feet. I thought I saw a spark in your eyes, desperately and far away, conquered all my needs, and I put all the way aside. Faces come out of the rain, ignoring the sea. We know better now. Let it be. I know we can't hold on, make it all worthwhile. It's the second round through a long defile. Here we are, where fire meets the cold. I'll let you leave, but please come back, 'cause I'll miss you the most. Oh, behold. I saw a glimpse of coloring, it knocked me off my feet.
To say that we are dazzled and thrilled by the show of color along the Sterling Highway is an understatement. If we only knew what lies even farther ahead. For now, we stop for grub at the Sunrise Inn Cafe just outside Cooper Landing. We park our old bus, who couldn't look more in her element, surrounded by bright splashes of yellow and gold. We don't eat out often, but when we do, we like to keep it nice and local. Good food, hot coffee, and it doesn't hurt to have some local art gracing the walls.
Holy cow, are you gonna eat all of that?
Questionable.
Fun fact, if a plate of biscuits and gravy is on the menu, I'm getting it. Always. It's kind of a thing. And Jose Luis, he'll never say no to one of the heartiest meals on the menu. We like this spot. The food is good, the coffee is hot, it hits just the spot. Outside, the leaves are putting on a show. Their deep canary yellow against the rich blue of today's sky is, well, it's like candy for the eyes. We are in the transition zone between the mountainous side and the lowland side of the Kenai Peninsula, and we are beginning to see stands of birch and aspen, something we rarely saw before. The land is changing, and the colors come along with it. Now, exactly where are we, and what is the change we are talking about? Well, allow us to introduce you. The Sterling Highway was constructed between 1947 and 1950. It stretches 138 miles from the Y at Turn Lake all the way to Ohmer. The highway begins in the Kenai Mountains and cuts its way through the range on its way to the lowlands. This highway is unique in that it bridges not only two distinct ecoregions, but also two even larger bioregions. The Greater Alaska Taiga and Tundra encompasses approximately 271.5 million acres of Alaskan territory. This bioregion is characterized by boreal forests and tundra. Meanwhile, the far northern Pacific Coast bioregion covers 42 million acres and is home to coastal rainforests and the alpine tundra of the coastal ranges. The Pacific Coastal Mountains ecoregion forms part of this wider bioregion, and it is dominated by spruce, hemlock, and the occasional cottonwood stand, and of course, the alpine tundra above. This is where we started our day, and we are now edging towards the Cook Inlet Taiga ecoregion, which is much more diverse. Its transitional forests home to more white spruce and, most crucially for the autumn colors, more birch and aspen groves. Mother Nature is not like us humans with our need for distinct, quantifiable boundaries. With Mama Nature, lines can be much blurrier. So as we make our way down the Sterling Highway, we edge farther into this transitional space between these two ecoregions and their even larger biomes. The stands of aspen and birch grow larger, and we just happen to get ourselves here on one of those rare blue sky days when the colors are afire. Kenai Lake reigns below its baby blue waters characteristic of glacially fed waterways. Kenai Lake feeds the Kenai River, which will weave and twist its way along the land before taking a rest in Skilak Lake and then continuing onward to the Cook Inlet. The Kenai River is a mecca for anglers across the world, so famous for its trout, dolly varden, and salmon runs. We take our sweet time on this drive, stopping often. Because this moment that we are capturing for you now, it's hard to communicate just how special a day like today really is. The Kenai Peninsula is a rainy place. More often than not, the sky is overcast. On top of that, autumn colors here are touch and go. Some years incredible, others not so much. It really comes down to being in the right place at the right time. And today is an absolute home run. So now we would like you to take this moment to transport yourself here to the Sterling Highway on this day. You're driving the bus, feel the rumble of the engine and the road beneath you, marvel at the light dancing through the trees on either side of the highway. And then when you're ready, take to the sky. And now here, dear friends, is where we break off from the Sterling Highway to embark down a road that, honestly, we are completely unprepared for. Skilak Wildlife Recreation Area is one of those hidden in plain sight gems of the Kenai Peninsula. It is part of the larger Kenai National Wildlife Refuge, which, as you can see, also straddles the boundary between those two contrasting biomes of the Alaskan landscape. For that reason, this wildlife refuge is unusually rich in biodiversity and such an important place to protect. Skilak Lake Road breaks off from the Sterling Highway at mile 58 and runs 19 miles through the refuge before meeting up with the highway again at mile 75. The road is unpaved and a little potholey, but that's nothing for our Bobby Bus and Sancho the Prius. These two have been on many an adventure together, sometimes in places no bus nor Prius has any business going. They are both rock stars of the road. While Bobby and Sancho are prepared for this road, we are wholly unprepared for the magic we are about to experience in this area. We're losing the light, so we're going to stop at Hidden Lake, the first campground on this side of the Skilak Lake Road. It is now early October, so the $23 a night fee is waived and the campground is free. And not only is it free, we have it almost entirely to ourselves. Today is the day that we trade off one off-grid home for another. Waking up in this wonderland of fall foliage is nothing short of magical. This is Hidden Lake. We are now right at that transition between the mountainous side of the Kenai Peninsula and the lowlands. I have often been curious why there is such a stark difference between the two sides of the Kenai Peninsula. Throughout Season 1, we have learned about the geology of Alaska and how so much of what we see has to do with the monumental plate boundary right at Alaska's doorstep. This is where the Pacific Plate is subducting or sliding beneath the North American Plate. A lot goes on at boundaries like this. First, seawater in the subducting plate lowers the melting point of the overlying rock and causes volcanoes. Next, the seafloor sediments and any blocks of crust hitchhiking on the subducting plate scrape off and form a pileup called an accretionary wedge. A whole lot of pressure builds here, and the land buckles. Where rock is thrust into the air, mountains form. Hello, Kenai Mountains. In Episode 9, we learned that when two bodies of rock slide past each other, that boundary is called a fault. This wedge is full of them, as blocks move in any direction they can to relieve the pressure. When one block shoves up and over another, it is called a thrust fault. The Border Ranges fault system has a long history of thrust movement. Here is where one gigantuan block of rock shoves over another. At the same time, the area behind it is squeezed, folded, and moved downward under all that pressure. Hello, Cook Inlet Basin and the Kenai Lowlands. So if we have a trench, an accretionary wedge, and a basin, doesn't that mean that there should be volcanoes lurking somewhere in the distance? Stay tuned for episode 27. So here we sit in the midst of an ongoing Earth story, where monumental forces shape the landscapes all around us. It's finally time to trade our tiny home for another. Our bus will feel kind of like the Ritz compared to where we're headed. But where we are headed has something our little home on wheels does not have: a history and a place in Alaska's culture and story. Just up the road from Hidden Lake is the short hiking path to Upper Ohmer Lake, and alongside that lake sits a little cabin. The history of Alaska's public use cabins dates back to the early 1930s. Now, Alaska is vast with a staggering amount of public land and a very limited road system. Public cabins were embraced as a way to provide safe accommodation for the use of remote wilderness areas. Alaska is home to hundreds of these public use cabins. Some are close to the road system, while most can only be accessed by a good long hike, bush plane, or boat. The one thing they all have in common, they are a public resource for all and a rooted part of Alaska's dedication to recreation and connecting people with the land.
Wow, it's pretty.
Oh, it's cold.
It's a little cold.
Yeah. Let's make a fire and get all set up.
Let's make a fire.
The cabins provide bunk beds, but no mattresses or bedding, so it's up to campers to bring sleeping bags and mats. Same goes for food, firewood, and cooking utensils. An axe and saw are provided, and campers are allowed to gather dead and downed wood. Some cabins have a small supply of wood, either left by Forest Service or other campers. The general rule is that if you use it, replace it, so that no one is left there without a way to quickly warm up. Now, I grew up in an old Wisconsin farmhouse heated by wood, so there's a bit of nostalgia in this process. The scent of wood smoke begins to fill the cabin, along with the smell of the slowly heating iron stove. There's no cell service out here, so we are free from the distraction of dings and the temptation to check social media. It's just the crackle of the fire, the slowly warming space, and a pitter-patter on the metal roof as a gentle rain begins to fall. Inside, the fire is now going strong, and the cabin is heating up fast. And we are getting hungry. The stove inside doesn't quite get hot enough to cook on. Campers are supposed to bring their own cook stoves. On that front, we have a little trick up our sleeve, one that packs down insanely well for our tiny living space. We can think of no better time and place to bust it out for tonight's meal. If you're curious about this little guy, it's our Otzi flat pack grill. We love it. Stainless steel, so it'll last us a lifetime. It uses almost no space, which is really big for us. And we love the company. Small and family owned, made in the USA. If you ever get one of these, make sure you use our code and get yourself a discount. The link and code are down below in the video description. Now this is kind of sweet. In this one meal, different pages of the Art We There Yet journey are coming together. 2 years ago, we were in Baja, Mexico, and we discovered chile morita. We jumped through a lot of hoops to maintain a supply of it in the bus. Jose is now using it on wild silver salmon we caught just a week ago along the shores of Seward. Anyone who has ever joined us for a meal in the bus knows that Jose never cooks a meal without also making a salad. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you're wondering why we carried such big packs to the cabin, well, now you know. Life is about good food, good company, and every so often landing yourself in a place where the world slows down, even just for a little while. The next day, the rain and the wind begin to strip some of the color from the trees. We begin to think that maybe this was it, that our drive to Skilak and our time at Ohmer Lake Cabin was our great grand show of the autumn colors. We have no idea how wrong we are. We never planned to stay long in the Skilak area, but next time on Art We There Yet, we will show you why this place caught us by surprise and quickly became one of our favorite places in all of Alaska. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like.
Subscribe to our channel.
Send us a comment below, and for exclusive content and a behind-the-scenes view of the Art We There Yet journey,
Join us on Patreon.
see you over on Patreon.